All right, so we continue with our task guideline for Iscpdi. Today we look at task question 2 with focus on 3, 4, and 5. So assignment task 2, focusing on question 3, 4, and 5. Yes, 3, 4, and 5 because it's not that long, you know. So straight to the point. Question number 3, right? So in question number 2, we would have spoken about pull and push, right? Shifting from push to pull. Question number 3 is asking the following. Assess the factors that must be considered as the organization adopts a response-based business model. Response-based pull system. That's what they're talking about. Response-based, a just-in-time type of system. Right, so, you know, there are some major factors that you ought to consider. Let's be practical. Location, right? Geographical location. All right, so depending on your geographical location or depending where your supplier or suppliers are located geographically, a just-in-time system may not be practical, right? All right, in terms of the logistics, all right, the logistics implications, right? So once we're looking at, well, not all of the time, but generally speaking, if you're acquiring, let's say in the Caribbean and you have to acquire goods from North America, all right, it might be difficult to have just-in-time deliveries for certain items, right? I'm not saying it's not possible, all right? For example, for rotable spares, we would have used a just-in-time system for some aviation type rotable spares, but it's risky. All right, it's still risky. I mean, North America to the Caribbean, it's not very far, but you can have delays, right? So you know, it's not, you know, it's not something you can truck, right? You have to use air freight or sea freight. All right. So definitely look at the location and the location of your suppliers in particular. All right, geographical location. It may or may not be practical. Cost, yes, just-in-time can be costly because here's the thing. Just-in-time promotes the delivery of items usually in small amounts. And when we customize, you don't customize in large amounts because my customization might be different to yours, right? So you may have 10 items that are customized differently, right? So you may see that with Bugatti cars or with Brompton bicycles or with Koenigsegg sports cars, right? Customization goes a long way in those organizations, right? They customize everything, right? So no Bugatti may be identical to the other, right? So, you know, there's a cost attached to pull systems in terms of, yes, in terms of the customization that is required and in terms of manufacturing in smaller quantities. All right. Capability of existing, I have here of existing software. Well, I'll say this. You know, if there's a just-in-time or pull-based system, one would think that the supplier or suppliers will be part of your platform, right? Your inventory management platform, right? So you need to have the proper IT infrastructure for something like that. Remember, for just-in-time to work or for pull systems to work, we must be, you know, communication must be seamless, all right? Culture is one. We did highlight that before, and you know, you can leave it out. So you can easily repeat some of the points you would have made in question 2, but try not to. So I've given you some other pointers to think about. All right. So the type of business your company is in as well. You'll have to consider that. What type of business your company is in? In the health sector, just-in-time will not be practical for certain goods. all right? Oxygen, hypodermic needles. You know, you need to have these items in stock at all times, right? So that's it for question 3 of task 2. Question 4, assuming you are the new supply chain director of the organization, what sourcing strategy should be implemented that could work along with proposed pull-based systems? So if I'm promoting a pull-based system or just-in-time based system or what we call a response-based system, you know, supplier relationship management and supplier development will work nicely there. Well, supplier relationship management is, you know, it's a concept or a strategy that promotes collaboration between the supplier and the buyer, all right? Supplier development, on the other hand, is working with a supplier, let's say, to resolve problems or to improve an innovation or to address a quality issue, right? That's what supplier development is really about. So you can adopt those two strategies. You can discuss them. I'll share some literature on that with you all later on, all right? But that will work nicely because remember, with a just-in-time or pull-based system, you don't want errors. You don't want shortcomings. You want a smooth flow, right? Because waste becomes the enemy, as well as, you know, unnecessary activities. All right, so there are others. A total quality management approach or strategy ought to be adopted, you know. So total quality management is getting it right the first time every time. So what you want to do is this. You want to have quality all the way upstream. Quality must be found in your first tier, second tier, third tier, fourth tier, etc. suppliers. So you're depending heavily on your first tier supplier, all right, to ensure that the second tier and the lower tier vendors are promoting quality, all right? That's the idea, because we don't want errors. Just in time. Pull-based system. The whole idea behind a pull-based system is to reduce cost, right? What's the sense promoting a pull-based system if there are errors, there are mistakes, if there are challenges, major challenges in quality? And finally, we go to, and by the way, you can discuss other strategies as well, which will work alongside or which will complement pull-based systems. 5, how can the adoption of a collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment concept or approach, CPFR, contribute to both reactive, all right, and proactive response models mentioned above in the context of the organization's circumstances? So, you know, I don't like, you know, it's really not fair to call anticipatory based models reactive. You know what I mean? Because we're still forecasting and we're forecasting intelligently, but nonetheless, we'll address it. We'll address it regardless. We'll still address it. First, you must understand the purpose of the model. All right, so you can talk about the model. If you want, you can share the diagram of the model you all would have done in the classroom and talk about what is the purpose of the model. In a nutshell, as we know, it promotes a high level of collaboration with key stakeholders, right? Including marketing and sales. Everyone is on board. Everyone is around the table, right? In terms of contribution, the concept aim is to improve inventory management, to have shorter cycle times, to increase sales and revenue, to have stronger relationships with our partners, to have better visibility across the supply chain, you know, and so many things. You all could add so much more to this, right? So, you know, you can include your CPFR model that you did in the classroom. All right, you can include it. Yeah, you can. Why not? I guess it can add value. Or you can include any other CPFR model. You don't have to, but I think it's a good idea to include it. Why not? Right? So talk about CPFR from give an academic perspective and even a real life perspective in explaining what it is about in terms of the purpose. You can talk about, you can make mention of other companies who would have applied CPFR, like Walmart, for example. All right. So talk about the purpose, talk about the value it would have added to these big companies. Yeah. So this is how I see it. This is how I see it. Question 3, 4, and 5. Feel free to add anything else. A last note, in terms of its contribution, you should also discuss them within the above benefits, or you should discuss the benefits of it. Okay, I'm saying here that it fights the bullwhip effect, avoiding reaction to customer demand, and promotes predictiveness instead. Yes, that's true. So bullwhip effect, something I will share with you all later on. I don't want to talk about it now, but yeah, CPFR, what is it about? CPFR, how can the adoption of it contribute to both reactive and proactive? So CPFR can help a push system as well as a pull system. That's what it's about, right? And you must discuss how it can. All right, because of the collaboration that it brings. All right, in a pull system scenario, suppliers will be fully aware of what is required when it is required. In terms of a push system scenario, or an anticipatory based model, again, all players will be on board. All right, so they can also respond. They will be prepared, right? They will be prepared for what is to come, right? Okay, so I'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much.